they obviously flow down into this big tarn, and this is the outlet. Just here where I've got to cross over. A little bit of water going down there. Yeah, I won't be drinking out of that with all those ducks in there. Doesn't smell very nice either. I've just come out onto the clearing where I saw the stag from up on the top on the first day. The Tarn's just out to my right. So I'll just head up here quietly. Nothing roaring. That's where I've seen the stag, down that end of the clearing. I've seen it from way up on the tops up here. See quite a bit of rubbing just here, and there's quite a bit of sign right here. So he'd be around somewhere, but pretty quiet. Not making any noise. So I'm now around the other side of the tarn, that's over back here. Navigated around that. Just looking up the side there, these big waterfalls there. And I'm still going to keep heading out this way. This scrub's not too bad to get through. Some of it's pretty tight, but yeah, some good clearings too. Not a hell of a lot of deer sign in here though, there's not much for them to eat in this stuff. Nothing roaring either, so carry on and just keep exploring while I can. If I didn't know any better, a cool bit of greenstone. This water must actually flow down here when it floods real bad. I just hate to see the state of the big rivers when it really rains. When these waterfalls must let a hell of a lot of water down when it's raining, and it just all floods out across this flat and keeps it pretty open. Not much deer sign on it. Not too much sign on here, but they certainly cross over it. There's nothing to eat on this stuff here, it's just bare rocks, but they must be around somewhere around the edges, so we'll keep going. Quite far from the Tarn back there now. Where I first hit the Tarn's about 800 metres back. This is pretty easy walking on here. So I've heard two roars up the side up here somewhere. Pretty far up, and I don't really want to go up by those waterfalls and cliffs up there. If I can roar him down would be good. He's only roared twice, so he's not really fired up. I'll just keep going up this big, it's obviously a bit of an overflow when it floods. Just keep walking up here, I think. Try and get something a bit closer. Rain's still coming down. When you're dripping wet, you might as well carry on. There's everything back at camp's wet as well. Little native falcon. Falcon just done a little circle around me and it's just landed on the tree there. Pretty cool. This would be pretty epic to see this when it's flowing and changing the landscape here. It's pretty cool. Be pretty scary actually, especially if you're standing around here trying to watch it. There's the Tarn down there, big Tarn. This water here obviously flows down into it eventually. Pretty cool. There's a long way up. It's actually not that much up to the top, so I'm guessing a lot of this water's either out of a spring or there's a hell of a lot of flow coming down from the right hand side to bring this down. But it's obviously a hell of a lot of water's come down at some stage and blown all this rock out, wiped out all the trees. There's just trees and logs smashed all the way down to the bottom. Pretty impressive. It's a good nice open ridge. This is where that stag was roaring and he's gone quiet and buggered off somewhere. Doesn't want to play today. Might be another one around. There's one rod, but it's miles out there. You can stay there. Another one again. No. to come in for a scrap today. I just keep going down this ridge, and then before I drop down to the river, it's about 700 metres down to the big river, and hopefully follow that back towards camp. Spot here. So I was a bit unlucky. I just had a stag. I might be able to pick it up on the GoPro. Just roared up behind me, and it was actually I came along the ridge and I was roaring from up here, and the ridge sort of keeps going. But I decided to drop over the side down towards the main river, and as I dropped down, I heard the stag roaring just over here, and he started coming up, and I think he might have got to where I was sitting up the top. And he's got my scent there, and he's gone quiet and bolted. He never roared again, but he roared just here. He was pretty close. I was only just over that little brow there, so I sort of expected to see him, but he didn't want to come at me. He just went straight up on the ridge, and then I think he's got my scent and took off. So carrying on with the plan, straight down. It's pretty steep. I can hear the big river roaring down the bottom, so when I get down there I might not be able to hear much roaring, but see how we go. Yeah, that was a bit of a bugger, just a couple of minutes of bad timing there, and if I'd stayed on that ridge he would have probably walked right up to me there when I was roaring, but you don't know until you know. Never mind. Still quite a few k's to go back, so yeah, over 3 k's in a straight line, so it'll take a while to get back, and I might bump into some more on the way home, hopefully. There's a hind just there and ran off. Bugger. This is standing right there. Can smell it too. Right there. Moo! Moo! Damn it. It was right here. But weird and scraggly at the moment. Yeah, missed out on that big stag. I've seen him 3 times. Just went to pull the trigger on his neck, and it's pretty hard to see through the scope because it was pouring down rain. Pretty wet, but and then he was still roaring after I left, just still nutting off. But GPS is starting to go flat. It's going to get dark. Couldn't really afford to muck around too long. It had one more roaring on the way back. So yeah, seen a few stags, had a bit of action today, but going home empty-handed so far. Still got about 800 metres to go before I get to the river, the bigger one that I cross, and then only about another 500 metres back to camp after that. So go back and try and get dried off. Absolutely soaked. Nice clearings here, so I'll not see if something's popped out. Never know my luck. Can't get any worse. Yeah, that rain's just not stopping now. I think it's going to rain until we get picked up tomorrow morning. We'll just pack everything up in the morning underneath the tarps, under the flies, so keep dry. This is crossing the same river I did before. Don't have to try and step across stones because my boots are completely filled with water anyway. So can't get any wetter than what they were. And there's a bigger one over here to cross, and then about 400 metres back to camp. And a pretty big day. Pretty good fun. Might not be some people's idea of fun, but I love it. Doesn't matter that I didn't get a shot away, or other than the first one I shot at today. That big fella, it would have been good to get that one. He had a pretty good head on him. He was a pretty big stag. Yeah, it would have been cool to shoot that one, but never mind. Be here for another time, and hopefully someone else gets him. Quite a big long antlers, big tines on them. And like I say, I got to see him a few times, but just didn't quite get a shot away. The one time he stopped and I could see his neck sticking up, just about to pull the trigger, and he turned and bolted again, so bad luck. Yeah, carry on through this bit of thick stuff here and then cross that next river and home. So last river crossing before camp. Can just cross there. I wouldn't cross there, it's a little bit deep. But this wide piece here is quite shallow, so it's quite safe there.
How many stags did you get?
Bugger all. Had a bit of a big mission though.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Weird. It's 3:30 in the morning.